Thank you, Senator Warren. Senator Wyden has had to step away to vote. He should be back momentarily, and he wanted to ask another couple of questions. So until he returns, I will ask another couple of questions. And the first one, Mr. Barloon, is for you. Back to the USTR and WTO reform. The USTR's 5-year report on the WTO indicates a poor record and elusive prospects for reform. Some of this is certainly outside the control of the United States, but some of the inability is a result of the prior administration's lack of an active agenda for reform and refusals to tell partners what it wanted. The USTR also relied on outside consultants who only focused on interest-based negotiations, whatever that meant, which never yielded results. What would be your approach to encourage progress with WTO reforms?
Thank you for that question, Senator. I think that the United States in the past has been a leader at the WTO, certainly a leader in the foundation of the WTO. And if I'm confirmed, I will do my best to work with other members there and to take a leading role for the United States and to bring about much needed reform.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Dillon, in contrast to the multi-employer system, the PBGC's single employer insurance fund is healthy. According to PBGC's latest annual performance report, the single employer fund was in a positive net position of $54 billion at the end of fiscal year 2024. Given its overall positive financial position, what lessons or structural differences in the single employer pension system should Congress consider applying to the multi-employer system?
Well, thank you, Senator, for that question. I think it's an important one. And it's an interesting question from a historical perspective because when ERISA was passed, I think the expectation was that single employer plans would be more risky than multi-employer plans because multi-employer plans would have multiple employers funding them. And so they were structured very differently. You don't have the variable premiums of multi-employer plans. The premiums are lower, and there's less restrictions as opposed to the single employer plans. Now, as we look here today, to your point, the single employer plan program at the PBGC is running a significant surplus, whereas a multi-employer plan program, we have plans that are in distress. The most severely financially distressed plans have been addressed through the SFA, but we still have plans that are distressed, and I think Congress has done a lot of work here. The Senate did a lot of work here. The Joint Select Committee, I think, had some very good ideas for ways to address these structural issues. And if I'm confirmed, I would look forward to working with this committee and Congress to examine those proposed solutions to potentially apply to the multi-employer program.
Well, thank you very much. And Mr. Morrissey, I don't really have another question for you, but while we're waiting here, I thought maybe I'll just respond to some of the things that have been said and get your opinion on this. I know that you're not in the policymaking zone right now, and we are, but some of the things that were said about the tax bill probably needs to be set straight. The bill has got a score of, an alleged score of $4.3 trillion. Meaning it's going to increase the deficit by $4.3 trillion. The way that happens is it's going to cause a $4.3 trillion tax increase on people if we don't extend current tax law. So we're having this big battle over current policy and so forth. But of that $4.3 trillion tax increase that is going to happen if we don't act, 2.6 trillion of it is tax increase on people making less than $400,000 a year. And actually it's less than $200,000 a year because that 400 number is a married couple. And another 1.7 trillion of it is small businesses and other pass-through organizations. And then another sizable amount of it is for tax credits to business for research and development, for bonus depreciation. It's a increased, stepped up speed of depreciation and so forth, which generates super investment in the United States in terms of capital. So I think we ought to understand what we're talking about when we hear these kinds of allegations. With that, I see that Senator Wyden has arrived, and you are welcome to have your next couple of questions, Senator.
Thank you very